It's Vlogtober day number 9, and today we're going to talk about greeting Nigerian in-laws. And I am Tracy Blake Salami. I make motherhood, lifestyle, and beauty videos, but I think that is going to change soon for a number of reasons, and I'll talk about it probably later in the week. But I am on my way to court. I came into the office because some medication that I'm taking, I have to have food with it, or I feel horrible. So I am going to court now, and I just came in to pick up this file, have a bite to eat, but I'm running to court. It's 9:11. Court starts at 9:30. I lost my attorney badge on my honeymoon, so that was years ago, and I've never gotten another one. So I always have to stand in line with regular folks. Not to sound crude or mean, but I just intentionally go to court a little bit later than the average person because I don't want to stand in line. And yeah, so I am on my way out the door. And today we have a question from a viewer, a very good question. And it's essentially how to interact with your potential future in-laws. I'll be more explicit with the question later, but for now, I have to run the court. This guy is singing live, and he sounds absolutely amazing. Okay, so I'm in court and I'm waiting for opposing counsel who is late. And as soon as he gets here, hopefully we can settle the matter and move on to the next thing. Because I have to get back to the office. I was late getting here because the A train is all messed up as usual. And so that's why there is a delay today. Anyway, it should be a simple case that gets adjourned because the issue that they brought my client to court for has been resolved. If they want to bring something new, they have to start a new case. I'm not going to settle for anything other than that. So I received a message on Instagram from a YouTube viewer with a question. She asked, can you do a video about interacting with Nigerian extended family? My boyfriend's cousin will be getting married in November, and I will be meeting most of his extending family at the wedding. I've already met his parents. What should I wear? I don't want to go too much, but his mother has expressed that she really likes my style of dress, mostly bodycon dresses that come below the knee. Should I wear gele? I like to dance, but my boyfriend does not. I know more about Afrobeat music than him. Should I just sit there? I don't want to seem stuck up or standoffish. I say go have a good time. And you don't have to wear gele, but you should wear something that's nice and that's appropriate. Take a look at things like Bella Nija. Look at the section where they always show the Ashaway B styles, and try to find something that is appropriate for anyone's parent or grandparent. But if at this point they're getting married next month, you've missed the opportunity to wear the fabric of the day. So at least wear the colors, or at least just look nice and go and have a good time. Yes, you should dance, and but at the same time, you don't want to overdo it where you the girl that won't get off the dance floor, because then it'll look like you party too much or you party too hard. But then again, Nigerians love the party. The bulk of my response really has to do with how to interact with his family. When you are meeting extended family of someone you're dating, who has the potential to be a future husband, you want to make a great impression. The video that I used in the thumbnail today for this video was from an event that I attended earlier in my relationship with my husband. I didn't have the fabric of the day. I didn't wear gele, but I went, I danced, and I had a good time. Most of the people were excited that I knew the songs, that I knew Afro beats, and that I could, do even some of the dance, that was going on at the time. And it was just a good time. And that's all you need to do is go and have good time. When it comes to his family and how you greet people who are older than you need to show a lot of respect. I have a very conservative view of family and how you greet family. If you have not subscribed to the podcast Married to Nigeria, right now is a good time to do it, because tomorrow we will drop a episode where we talk about greeting people in the Nigerian culture. I don't want to elaborate too much on this channel about it right now until the Married to Nigeria episode drops. But wherever you listen to podcasts, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, go and find us, because you will be floored. I am on the polar opposite end of the perspective when it comes to how you greet Nigerian family members. We had a guest who is American who married into, I believe, a Yoruba family, and she is on the opposite end of me and how we deal with family. First of all, I treat everyone who is like a mother or a grandmother to me with the absolute respect. And don't get me wrong, our guest on Married to Nigeria does the same thing, but she does it in her own way. For example, if you're meeting his mom, or if you're greeting his mother or grandmother, I always refer to everyone as they like to be referred to. And I learned to do that by watching what other people are doing. If your husband is calling his aunt mommy, then you call her mommy. Good evening, ma. Good afternoon, ma. How are you? How's work? How's life? Those are some of the general things that you would believe you wouldn't have to tell someone. But there are some people who really don't believe in using mom, mommy, daddy, baba, auntie, all these ways that Nigerians like to acknowledge seniority and greet people in the culture. A lot of Americans who are married into Nigerian families like that part of the culture, but then there's people who don't. And you'll hear that on the podcast that this particular guest doesn't necessarily think that using those sort of titles is required. It's not her culture, and it's not something that she's going to do. And she feels that calling a mother Mrs. Williams or Mr. Williams is good enough. To refer to someone who's a little older than her by their first name is good enough, because they're not her aunt. And so you have that sort of perspective amongst the African American culture, and you have to figure out where you fall. And if you want to be married into this family, you want to make a great first impression. You want to be on the good side. You don't want to be the wife that they're dreading because she is somehow undesirable. She is disrespectful. She doesn't seem to want to be a part of the culture. I'm not saying that every family will respond to you in that way, but you really need to get a feel for who it is that you're hoping to marry and what type of family he has. Does he have a family that's been in the U.S. like my husband's family, like 30 plus years, people who've been here for 15, 20, 25 years, and so they've kind of adjusted to the way Some Americans will correspond with them and greet them when they see them in person? Or do you have the more conservative Nigerian family who you better address in a certain way, or there's going to be problems and you're off to a bad start? You just have to figure out where you are comfortable. I can't tell you you should go the conservative route like me. I can't tell you that you should be who you are, more lenient, and think about the family only in the context of just being respectful and being your true Americana self. I just want to say that as a woman who's married into the culture, I very much respect the culture, and I think that it does not take much to show people respect. I don't think that it takes anything from you by regarding someone's mother as mommy, or referring to them as ma, or speaking to a grandmother and calling her big mommy, if that is what everyone else is referring to her as the big mommy of the family. And I don't think that it takes anything away from you to regard someone who's more senior than you as auntie. Um, and I think it's something that I actually thought was funny during my first trip to Nigeria, that I would go to a restaurant and the person serving me would be referring to me as auntie. And sometimes it makes me uncomfortable, especially since after giving birth, I've noticed some of the girls at our church will call me mom. I'm like, you really don't have to do that. And if they didn't do that, I wouldn't feel slighted. But not everyone feels that way. So you really need to sit back, watch, greet people in the way that they want to be greeted, not because you have to bow down or somehow couch down to them or their culture, but because you are seeking to be a part of this family, you need to learn what it is that is required of younger people in the family and what respect looks like for that family. And everyone is going to respond to you differently depending on what their own personal standards are. And the best indicator for you as an American, someone who doesn't really know the family in a real way, someone who doesn't know and understand all the parts of the culture, watch what your husband does or watch what your boyfriend does, and at least try to do that. If he's referring to someone as auntie, mommy, daddy, big mommy, greet them, smile, have fun, try the food. Know that they will be watching you at the event. They want to see how you eat pounded yam. They want to see how you eat amala. They want to know if the pepe is going to be too much for you. And just try to enjoy yourself. I think as long as you come dressed nicely and you have a good time, you will be glad that you went. So you shouldn't be, worried about going to this event for the first time. And if you have any questions like this, guys, don't be afraid to reach out to me. I do have a perspective that is more conservative, and I think it's because I approach my husband's family as I would my own, and I come from a southern family where we do put a handle, as my aunt would say, on people's names. You don't call your auntie by their name. You may not necessarily refer to them as auntie, but it's just a certain way that you come into the family when you are serious and you want to be seen as someone who's respectful. And people have different of opinions about that, and that's for you to figure out, like, where along the spectrum do you lie? Do you not refer to people as mommy because they're not your literal mommy? Or do you say, I want to be married into this family and I want them to know that I love and respect them as the mother of their, son. I will refer to you as mommy. Then I think that's fine too. Anyway, I have to go. It's been a long day for me and it's time for me to go home. Bye.